We owe it all to Andy Warhol and to Anita Bryant.
Hello, and welcome to the Tour Project. I'm Project Manager Eric Solomon. For this stop on the tour, navigate to 1083 Austin Avenue Northeast, Atlanta, Georgia, 30307. This is the site of the Little Five Points Community Center, which houses the Horizon Theater Company and Radio Free Georgia. The Horizon Theater Company is a 172-seat theater located between the Inman Park and Little Five Points neighborhood in the Little Five Points Community Center. This community center occupies the former Moreland Elementary School building, which operated from 1919 until 1982. Founded in 1983, Horizon Theater Company is one of the first occupants of this former school building. Horizon Theater Company's mission is to connect people, inspire hope, and promote positive change through the stories of our times. They have produced plays by Craig Lucas, Christopher Durang, Brad Fraser, David Sedaris. They've also recently produced Love M, a play about the AIDS crisis performed entirely over video calls, and The Cake, a stage play about a conservative baker commissioned to bake a cake for her lesbian friend's wedding. Also located in the Little Five Points Community Center is WRFG 89.3 Radio Free Georgia, a community radio station incorporated in 1971. WRFG has, over its time, hosted many and broadcast many LGBTQIA plus shows since 1973. According to Dave Hayward, it is one of the few media outlets that covered the community, along with the Great Speckled Bird in the 1970s. Radio Free Georgia's mission is to provide a voice for those who continue to be denied free and open access to the broadcast media world, and those who suffer oppression or exploitation based upon class, race, sex, age, creed, sexual orientation, disability, or immigrant status. For this stop on the tour, we'll hear both from Dave Hayward and Lorraine Fontana. Here they are.
When you go down Austin Avenue to Euclid Avenue, the main drag of Little Five Points, the Horizon Theater is still there. That's in the converted school, and also is the home of WRFG Theater, 89.3 FM. And Horizon Theater is also very open to gay themes and gay subject matter and openly LGBTQ performers and artists, and has done some shows, but not predominantly. And WRFG Theater, WRFG Radio, I always want to give props to them because, along with the underground newspaper, it's long gone alternative newspaper called The Great Speckled Bird, that started in the Atlanta in the 1960s. WRFG and The Great Speckled Bird covered the LGBT community and included us in their coverage, and included us as contributors and producers, and included our community in a way that the other media did not. So we knew that we could always get recognition and attention in The Great Speckled Bird and WRFG Radio, whereas we might not necessarily get covered by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
Here's how Lorraine Fontana remembers WRFG and its importance to alpha women and the dissemination of their ideas. Specifically, Fontana mentions the first lesbian radio program, Lesbian Woman, hosted by Elaine Kolb.
Early alpha women were involved in various community and social justice networks and organizations, including the Great Speckled Bird and WRFG, Radio Free Georgia. In fact, the first ever lesbian radio show on WRFG was done by Elaine Kolb, who is a founding member of Alpha. It was called Lesbian Woman. There was a famous book out at that time called Lesbian Woman. Del Martin and Phyllis Lyon. And I guess that's where the name came from. She was a very key person to the starting of Alpha. The first person to learn enough, to have the energy to learn enough to put on a radio show on WRFG. She's still an activist. She's up in Connecticut now. She's a disability rights activist because of her own ending up in a wheelchair very early on. And she's still active as ever. And, you know, if you look into anything about Elaine Kolb, you will find the reason why the beginning Alpha women were just social justice activists. Intersectional is what we now call it, but we knew that feminism was about touching all the different marginalized groups and isms that existed and having to disappear them all. So WRFG was really good about being an early media place that we could have gay and lesbian and then later transgender content.
Finally, here's Dave Hayward again with a bit more about WRFG and his own involvement with a radio program called Gay Digest.
When I also talked about WRFG, as we talked about, it was so important, it was so transformational that the Great Speckled Bird and WRFG were really welcoming to us as a community, and also provided us space to contribute and to participate. So personally, I was involved with a show called Gay Digest that aired on WRFG in 1977, 1978, 1979. And the reason why that happened was there was a man who moved to Atlanta. His name was James Moody, and he was a radio professional, and he had his own radio shows and done that as a career or as a living, and came to Atlanta and said, "Oh, well, I want to do this show." And so he railroaded myself and my former partner, Greg James, into producing the show. And so we did it, as I recall, we did it every Sunday night for 3 years, which was a lot. And it was basically a magazine format show. So we had different people on. We would do interviews and we would do original skits. And I always, performed in theater and things like that, and also was doing reviews. And so I would do, I think I did some original skits on that show, and then also do reviews of films and theater, the local cultural scene. It was a lot of hard work, but it was very gratifying. I remember one of the things that we would talk about is there would be concerts, free concerts in Piedmont Park every Sunday night by the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra. And it was kind of like, okay, we're either going to go to the concert in the park or we're going to do Gay Digest. And so we did Gay Digest. So that was hard. That was the trade-off. It was kind of like, okay, well, we're not be able to go to the free concert in Piedmont Park every Sunday instead of do Gay Digest. But that's the price of activism. And also, Maria Elena Dolan did a show at WFG, I think called Still Ain't Satisfied. And then her partner, Chris Carroll, was the general manager of WFG for many years and an open lesbian woman. So one of the things that really shifted and morphed and transformed was us really becoming more a part of the community and an open part of the community. I've been here so long that I still remember coming here 50 years ago and there being sort of a closeted aspect to where, okay, you're part of Atlanta and you're part of the community, but, not necessarily openly gay everywhere. And sometimes not a good idea for that as a sheer survival skill. And that's really changed a lot. That's just really totally transformed now. And I think for a lot of people, they just sort of feel like well, I am who I am, and I am who I am everywhere I am. And I think also that, when you look at our story, we've made enormous contributions. We've really transformed this city, this area, and I think made it much more cosmopolitan and international, and open and democratic, and all those really good things.
Thank you for joining us on this stop of the Tour Project. For more information, visit tourqueeratlanta.org. That's TUOR queeratlanta.org.